Welcome to the Hollywood Outsider, an award-winning weekly entertainment podcast. In this episode, we'll be discussing our favorite commercials. Remember those? Those were cool. Joker 2, the musical, Squid Game gets reality-based, and our spoiler-free reviews of Jurassic World Dominion and The Boys Season 3. Let's get on with the show. Rawr. My name is Aaron Peterson. Joining me today are my fellow hosts, John Davenport.
Hey, buddy. How you doing today?
Super. Troy Heinrichs.
Hey, I'm back to number 3 again.
No, you're not.
I did such an awful job. They demoted me.
Number 1 in our hearts. That's what you are.
He loves me. He loves me.
I do have a bone to pick with you two because I was not on the episode last week. I was taking a much-needed week off, but I listened to it because I love you guys, right? I love you. Top Gun, rated R. All 3 of you, one of you idiots, said that Top Gun was rated R, and the other 2 said, yeah. And I played it back like a couple times, like maybe I'm just not hearing that right. All 3 of you thought Top Gun, that had a sex scene behind a curtain, was rated R for some reason. Please explain this to me.
For the record, there is a lot of sloppy tongue that is going on behind that curtain, that it's a little bit offensive, that there was no way it could be PG. And we were confused on whether or not PG-13 existed at the time. And because you're so adamant about don't clicky-clacky the keyboard and don't be looking stuff up and pay attention, we didn't want to try to validate it in the moment. So we just rolled with it and took a stab.
No, you're not getting that one. You guys legitimately thought it was rated R because it was so quick to just one of the most popular like family films of the 80s, and you thought it was rated R? What in that movie is rated R material?
I'm pretty sure he ABC'd her behind that curtain.
I don't know what that means necessarily, and I probably like ABC's. What does that mean? I don't want to. Never mind, John. Actually, I don't want to know.
If you don't know, you're not old enough to find out.
Don't worry.
They danced horizontally the mambo.
Right. In my defense, though I know I don't have much of a defense here, in my defense, I did tell a story how one of the parents in my friends group took all of us to go see it in a movie theater, and I was 8 or 9 years old or whatever, however old I was at the time. So that is the closest thing that I can have to a defense of I didn't necessarily agree with him.
You did. You both clearly.
We both clearly said
yes. Yes.
Did I say yes?
You said yes. You all said yes.
I might have implied yes.
No, you said it. Go.
I don't even know what yes means.
Obviously not, because it means you're wrong. That's what it means.
Yes.
PG. Wasn't even PG-13. PG. God.
Which is like amazing to think that could possibly have been PG.
No, it's not amazing.
Just with the violence in it.
There's
and with
no
the sex in
violence.
it.
There's airplane battles. That's the only violence in that movie. Airplane battles. I've seen worse things when your Legos collide.
The tower gets buzzed a couple times.
There's a lot of cursing in that movie. I mean,
some chick gets ABC'd behind the curtain.
ABC'd and tower buzzing is not what you think it is. I think
it's kind of the same thing, John. Don't you?
I think it kind of is. I mean, you can actually flip those 2 around.
Stop.
You can.
Now you're making it rated R. Now it's rated R. Before it was PG. Now it's.
I'm pretty sure there's a number that you can call that now, and that might have happened behind that curtain.
God.
Did you see how much tongue was behind that curtain?
There's a lot of slop going on.
A lot of slobber. Just to the slobber alone, it should have been rated R because they only allowed 1 minute of slobber, and there was 2 minutes of slobber.
Just so your wrongness could be corrected. That's why.
I admitted I was wrong. I was wrong.
I got a feeling
I admitted it.
If anybody would actually send a summons to the MPA, it would be Troy. Like
it sure would.
Let's relook at this. Yeah. I need to be right.
I showed this to my 12-year-old, and I am appalled at the amount of saliva that I saw in this film. How is this PG?
In other news, by the way, this is kind of a fun.
This is not how I expected my 8-year-old to learn the alphabet. Okay, come on.
I gotta go Google ABCs. I don't think it. All I know is the elementary school song. I apparently am not as nasty as y'all.
I can tell you it's easy as 1, 2, 3. That's for sure.
As long as you know what you're doing.
this is a fun fact. Top Gun Maverick actually beat Doctor Strange 2 to 400 million domestically, which if you would have told me that Top Gun Maverick would beat a Marvel movie to $400 million domestically, I would, and it came out like a couple weeks later, I would have just laughed you out of the room.
If you told me that it was going to not be able to match up to a Marvel movie, I would agree with you. But if you told me that Top Gun was going up against Doctor Strange, I could totally believe it because nobody likes Doctor Strange.
No, but yeah, almost $1 billion worldwide. Nobody likes Doctor Strange. Jeez, you're getting wrong so often.
Doctor Strange is like the two worst movies of the entire thing, though.
What? I haven't even seen the second one, and I know it's going to be better than the first two Thor movies.
Yep, that's true.
Hey,
the
first one was good. The second one, I agree with you.
But nobody even thought that Top Gun Maverick would make $400 million domestic. Nobody thought. Tom Cruise is like, nah, I ain't gonna have. Nobody thought that. So it's really cool though that movie has been such a juggernaut because it's not a superhero movie where he's like, I wish we make stuff that isn't superhero movies. Well, here you go.
He's a freaking superhero. He went to Mach 10.
He's a pilot.
He's a nearly 60-year-old pilot in the Air Force. That makes him
Navy.
That makes him a superhero.
That makes him a superhero because the words nearly 60-year-old Navy aviator do not actually exist.
No, they do not. They definitely do not. But we've talked enough about Top Gun. Let's move on to some interesting new stuff. Joker 2 is in the works. Lady Gaga is in talks for a role, with many speculating she's going to be playing Harley Quinn. Now we're talking Joker 2, with Joaquin Phoenix. He's not officially signed, by the way, but he has been shown reading the script. So whatever ominous nonsense that means. And sources tell Variety and Hollywood Reporter that it's going to be a musical. And I think the working title is Joker Folie à Deux, referencing a medical term for an identical or similar mental disorder that affects two or more individuals, usually members of the same family. John, I don't know what the hell is happening here. I felt like it was April 1st when this all came out. So where are you with any of this?
Well, let me start this by saying that though I think the first Joker movie is a great piece of cinema and it is a great, just artistically incredible film, it's not something I ever need to see again. It goes on that shelf right next to 12 Years a Slave.
Fantastic film, but you don't need to rewatch it. I got it.
Right. You can call it DC if you want to call it DC. It's not necessary. It's a side project of DC. Those are all my thoughts as far as the first one's concerned. I don't need this movie. I don't necessarily think that Todd Phillips has to give me a movie that I need. So I am just going to say that it's something that I will likely opt out of. But I can't, man. I can't do this again. I just can't.
Look, I mean, it rise to stardom because it was on the heels of all of the fall film festivals at the time. And that's what got it to its opening weekend. I think if they had the same strategy here, or if they just actually don't take themselves seriously and put it out on April 1st, I think that would be a great move. I think that it'd be a great marketing buzz. People love Gaga and what she does. Joaquin Phoenix is a gem of an actor. The story was amazing and how they pulled this one off. The musical is a little bit scary, but at the same time, if there was ever going to be a musical in the DC universe, Joker would be the one that they would do it for. And I think that's really interesting. And I love the concept of that they have the same illness or shared illness in what they're trying to think of for the title, because if it is Harley Quinn and then you find out that they're brother and sister, that's just going to be even sicker, which makes total sense why that would be.
Yeah, that would be uncomfortable. No, it's speculation that she's Harley Quinn. They haven't confirmed that part yet. I am of the mindset where, many people have said superhero movies are all the same, right? They're all the same. Okay, well, they're doing something different. Now, I didn't think Joker 1 would work, and it did. It worked great. So I'm intrigued, though I'm not excited, but I'm intrigued to see what they're going to do. Just the idea of making this movie, if it were like a full-blown musical, I kind of think it would be fantastic in the most ridiculous way. Because I really think it could work. I mean,
the whole
Lady
stair
Gaga.
sequence from the first movie, that whole stair sequence could have been a complete Tom Hiddleston kind of like musical number up and down the staircase. He could have been singing the whole time. It would have been awesome.
Well, and if you think about it, I mean, really think about it, maybe this is just, it's actually going to be more of a Harley Quinn story. If anyone would have mental breaks to where she would be thinking she was singing and having a full-blown musical number, it would be Harley Quinn. The only downside is, even though I love Lady Gaga, I think Margot Robbie has nailed Harley Quinn, so that part would be a little disappointing because I'd rather see more Margot Robbie than anything, personally.
But then you would have to say that these are in the same universe and blah, 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 blah.
That's true. I mean,
so the real question, John, is given this title and the concept, right, the medical term for an identical or similar mental disorder, you being the comic book aficionado, is the Joker ever in the comic books been anybody different? Like the original Joker dies and another person takes up the mantle of Joker, that you could see potentially Lady Gaga's character becoming the Joker and they share that same thing because maybe they're family or something. Does that ever happen in the comic book or no?
So the Joker's never really been anybody who has been identified in the comics. He's always just been the Joker. He's had different looks over the years. He's had different quirks to his personalities, but it's never been really nailed down to just who he is. Now, in some other forms of media, they've actually talked about how the Joker is a kind of like an infection that somebody gets, and that's actually to me a really interesting idea, where the Joker is something that transfers from person to person as an infection, and or like Azazel from the movie Fallen. And it's a really neat idea to see him being told that way, because it really helps with the whole constantly changing his look and really pushes that envelope of him being just a pure agent of chaos versus somebody who's actually evil. Well, I guess is the amount of chaos he ensues is evil, but it is what it is. I forget what the rest of my point is, but I promise you it was going to be pretty cool, but there you go.
Maybe if you sang it, I think I would understand it better. Dun, dun, dun.
For sure.
Dun, dun, dun.
So what you're saying is these two people could have similar mental disorders and one could pick up the mantle from the other one. And that would be still technically part of it because you don't really know, because all you see is the Joker. You don't actually see.
How about this as an idea? Huh? Maybe, Joaquin Phoenix was reading it, but he's not confirmed as to signed on. What if it's a lady Joker? What if Lady Gaga I'm
pretty sure the Pocket Protector crowd is going to have problems with that.
But wouldn't that be, we always say do something different. Wouldn't that be different?
And if the Joker's the Joker, depending on haircut, style, makeup, all that stuff, you could make it like it doesn't even look like Lady Gaga. Like
why can't
the Penguin didn't even look like what was it, Colin in the last movie?
But why can't it be Lady Joker? Why is it? There's no rules here. As far as I'm concerned, it just hasn't been done yet.
There's nothing that says you couldn't do a Lady Joker.
Just saying.
Look, I'm not convinced that this is just Todd Phillips, getting too big for his britches for once and being like, finally, no more of those stupid movies where there's like a comedy. I can do something real. Oh, now that I've done something real and everyone loves it, I'm going to lose my goddamn mind.
Yeah, there's a good possibility for that. I'm just saying, don't count it out. Maybe it's because, someone who has a similar mental disorder, maybe she has a similar affliction to Joker, like Joker does,
Maybe she's just playing Harley Quinn, and because they have that same affliction, that's why they have an affinity for each other.
But I think Harley Quinn's the easy answer. Like nothing's confirmed, and I don't know.
Including Joaquin being in the thing.
Exactly. But,
well, there is another character in the comics who's a bit of a newer character, and that's Punchline. So it's possible she's Punchline.
We'll find out soon. Now, another news: Squid Game is getting a reality series. Though I think it's going to be really difficult to replicate that particular game since no one's going to die. I don't think. And there's a potential cash prize of $4.56 million. Jesus! What do you think, Troy? You love reality crap. Do you want a reality Squid Game? Or is it kind of a lazy option when you can't really take out the contestants?
Yeah, see, which is weird because I saw on Instagram an ad for Squid Game 2. Mm-hmm. So the question is Squid Game 2 and this the same thing? Is this going to be something completely different?
Nope. Squid Game 2 is a real thing. This is a reality series based on
called Squid Game The Challenge is what I saw.
Yep.
And, I think the competitions inside of Squid Game were fun. Granted, you remove the killing and death aspect of it all.
I think that was the fun. Red light, green light.
But I mean, it's like to do it as a competition series. I mean, it just sounds like Double Dare or any other like Hole in the Wall
American
or
Gladiators.
American Gladiators. Yeah, I mean, it could be fun. It could be interesting. I'm sure a lot of people would be on board for it. I don't understand. I mean, the 456 million is obviously because of 456 players, from the original show.
Mm-hmm.
It's got pros and cons. The fact that it has 10 episodes is the thing that's weird. It's like, if it's a competition series, it should just go forever. Like, why is it 10 episodes? Unless they're going to have very specifically 10 games, and whoever stands at the end of the 10th game is the winner. I mean, I guess that makes sense, but I can have like a host. Is Nick Cannon going to come out or something? And
dear God, man. Easy. Stop it.
Just
we don't need that ever.
Hey, don't you say that name again. He'll show up.
It's not like Candyman.
Oh, he's not?
No. But you will have a kid. If you say, every time you say his name, boom, somebody gets pregnant. I think that's how it works. Is it really Squid Game though? If people live, I feel like that's the game. That's the appeal of the game, is that you took people out. Does that mean people are going to be in mortal danger? Because now I'm interested. It's kind of like if you make Hard Target the show. I want to see people hunting homeless people.
But I mean, you can still do the games without the
Not
killing.
literally, just as a Van Damme reference. But go ahead. Sorry. How do you do it though?
I mean, the games are the games. You like, if you don't get the honeycomb out of the center thing without it breaking by the end of the time, then you're just out. It's like dodgeball. You got hit by the ball, you're out. It's not like
there's a trapdoor underneath, and if you don't make it, the trapdoor opens. You fall through the trapdoor into a slide that then lands you into a whole thing of like the old green slime from. You can't do that on television.
It's like Nerf Squid Game. I don't want to see that. It's like Squish Game.
Well, so what they actually do is the trapdoor opens and it goes inside of a water tank that gets latched and closed and locked. And then you see them later at the end of the 10th episode, all in the audience, but they're actually clones.
Have I ever told you how much I hate you?
I was just building off your idea. We got to riff off each other, John.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
This way you can have the killing, you just don't know the killing is happening.
Right. Well, it doesn't matter because it's only a clone that you're killing anyways, and clones don't have souls.
Exactly. I hope at the end of the series they all just show the tank and they're all just floating. And like they forgot to get them out of the tank.
One giant aqua aquarium underneath of the stage.
Aqua funeral. That's what that is.
It'd be like, there's the body of Austin Powers next to the body of Vanilla Ice, and
jeez, I don't even know where any of that came from. You know what?
I do.
Share your thoughts on this episode by emailing feedback@thehollywoodoutsiders.com, or our voicemail is 818-814-6246. Our website is thehollywoodoutsiders.com. It's thehollywoodoutsiders.com, and we're on Twitter @BuyPopcorn, as well as we have a Facebook group, The Hollywood Outsider. We have a Patreon page. Our show's independently funded, therefore all the expenses are from our own pockets, and Patreon helps you, the fans, support your favorite podcast. Once you sign up, you get immediate access to all the content in your respective tier, and there's a lot of stuff on there, including Bad Movie Night. Now, you understand what that is, so just if you want to support the show, it's patreon.com/thehollywoodoutsiders. And when we say Bad Movie Night, we usually mean a movie that critics or fans might not have liked, but we think might not be such a bad movie. And I think the most recent one was Jurassic Park 3, and that was off the frickin' rails, by the way. I wasn't on that episode. My God, it was off the rails.
Oh, you're talking about the episode. I thought you were talking about the movie.
No, the movie's great. Well, not great. The movie's fun. Just, except for the talking dino thing, which was still one of the weirdest things ever.
And the chasing cell phone and dinosaur shit. I mean, come on.
Yeah, there's some weird things.
So was it off the rails in a good way or in a bad way, Aaron?
I thought it was fun. I liked it. I listened to it, and okay. I laughed a lot.
Did you appreciate the fact that I was the one correcting everyone in that episode?
Yeah, at least somebody remembered that there are corrections to be made.
Yeah. Where were you the episode before that, John?
Yeah, where were you in Top Gun Rated R when you were agreement? Total
it was the same night. I don't know what happened.
Oh, now we go to spoiler-free reviews. Now we're going to do Jurassic World Dominion at the end, just because there are going to be spoilers in that. We'll do a spoiler-free review, and then we'll go right into spoilers. So, but I do want to mention The Boys Season 4, because I have seen the entire season. I'm sorry, Season 3. I apologize, Season 3. I have seen the entire season of The Boys, And, I'm not going to ruin anything, but I will kind of just go off some points that aren't really spoilery, but Homelander's off his rocker more so than usual. The boys experiment with a super serum. Starlight is again subjected to humiliation through her issues with Vought. There is a character named Soldier Boy who makes a comeback and is supposed to be kind of a villain, but I really feel like is never quite as bad as he seems like he should be. Probably because he's played by Jensen Ackles, and it's really hard to hate Jensen Ackles, I think.
Yep.
The Deep makes a comeback, deeply humiliated, of course, and Homelander once again, truly, he's just so evil. He's almost irredeemable. So what I want to say to review it and not spoil anything is just, I feel like they keep taking this series and just amping it up and amping it up. And by the end, you kind of see where the next season's going to go pretty obviously. But I do have a concern about the entire character of Homelander. And John, I know you watch this show pretty religiously. I don't know if you're caught up or not, because God knows.
I'm caught up. I'm caught up. I don't have the same kind of access you do, but I'm caught up.
Well, I'm not going to spoil anything, I promise. But I guess I want to ask you, because I've seen the season, and you're kind of halfway through, right? It's about 4 episodes in you've seen.
Yeah, 4 episodes in.
Do you feel like they need to, from where you are now, do you feel like they need to do more to humanize Homelander, or is he getting a little too mustache twirly evil?
I don't think it's possible to human. Actually, let me reverse course on there. I think he's actually very human and very mustache twirly evil at the same time, and exactly the kind of person that he would be if he was as mentally unstable as he is. And had the kind of power that he has. I think you can point to very real people in the world and say, oh, look, Homelander. And it really wouldn't be that far off. So do I think he's too much as far as from a person watching the show and trying to enjoy the show? Yeah, he's a bit much. And if he's just going to keep on becoming more and more without any sort of way of balancing that, then I don't know how you're going to be able to maintain viewership that way. Otherwise, I do have to say the show is fun.
Yeah, because they really kind of humanized him more in the second season. And that's kind of where he fractured a little bit in season 2, to the point where he's like misunderstood, nobody gets me, and that's what sends him off his rocker. And then he just basically goes, screw it, I'm me against the world. Which then leads him into his path for season 3.
Yeah, it's not necessarily that. I mean, it's not that it's like he made the smallest amount of an effort to be more human the second season, or the second season. It was like, let me try the smallest amount I possibly can, and let me see what I can do. And it ends up blowing up in his face, quite literally. Mm-hmm. And it's like he learned all the wrong lessons from that, and you're seeing the value of all those lessons he learned now.
Right. Well, it's a good season. It's a great season. Kimiko really gets a lot to play with in this particular season as well.
I adore her.
Oh, she's so great. There's even I don't think it's really a spoiler alert, because I think they're advertising it now, but there's going to be a musical moment at a point in the near future, which is pretty exciting.
Not a musical episode, just a musical moment.
It's not a musical episode. I think they're spinning it that way, but it's not. It's not. It's just a moment. But it's very exciting. I thought it was actually pretty cool. And Carl Urban, as always, dominates as Billy Butcher, who is somehow, I think, getting to the point where he's even bigger asshole than Homelander at this point.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I think the only thing that makes him the thing that I think is the scariest scene in the entire show that's ever been shot was like watching Huey lose his humanity in the car ride after he did that punch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. I know what
that was. Yeah, that was like this. One of the most scary. That's one of the scariest scenes, is watching him lose his humanity in that moment.
It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. So definitely check out The Boys season 3, and season 4 has been officially announced. I don't know how you could think that it wasn't coming, but I will tell you, by the end of the season, you're gonna wish that you knew that it was renewed. So I'm telling you, yes, it's renewed.
What was the score on the C word meter from Carl Urban's character?
I didn't keep a tally, but I mean, he gets into it. Like he really, I mean, he's experimenting with all kinds of profanities this season.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's trying new
he's
stuff.
expanded the vocabulary.
Oh, yeah, he's
so
expanding.
It goes back to his default occasionally.
He's growing.
Right. Yeah.
He's growing.
I gotta say that first episode. So I've watched both the first and second seasons a couple times. When I first came to the mountains, I sat down with my dad and watched watched them both again because I was introducing him to the boys, and I knew the second season was going to have some things that my dad wouldn't be able to handle. I can't even let him watch the first episode of this one because he will not deal.
Wow.
Yeah. The first episode, I mean, we're already like 4 episodes in, so I'm not gonna say anything that happens, but I will tell you, that is the one thing. I guess I will say that about this season. Okay, I feel like they're going too much into Naughtyville, to where I think they're pushing it a little too far. There's an episode called Herogasm that's coming up. That isn't, and that's many comic book fans are really, really excited about it. I think it really does deliver, and I think in that episode they actually have a nice balance of tons of sex and also really important story beats, and it works. And now but there are a lot of other moments throughout the season where I feel like they're just trying too hard to be filthy as opposed to actually blending the story elements. And I do think that first scene in the opener is one of those. I'm like, I feel like somebody just had to try to do this. That's all it is. And I don't know if they should. What was it? They were so busy. Jurassic Park. They're so busy thinking that they could. They never stop to think if they should. And that's where I think it ends up. But apparently John loved it.
I thought it was hysterical, but there's no way my dad's going to be able to survive that. My dad will not make it.
Yeah, it's quite a moment, Troy.
So watch the opening. Watch the opening. Take a shower, then come back.
Like in the second season, when the penis monster tried to kill somebody, like my dad almost didn't survive that. He thought it was funny, but he also said, "I never want to see anything like that again."
Yeah, keep him away then.
It's so funny though. It's so good.
Keep him away from Herogasm too. All right, so 10 out of 5 price submission, I would give it 750. I think it's a pretty good season, but I think it's trying too hard to be naughty. Any recent film or TV recommendations not previously talked about, Troy?
I am just absolutely loving Strange New Worlds on Paramount Plus, the new Star Trek show. It is so well done. To go back to like classic Trek, people that would be the keyboard warriors of the Star Trek world that are like, Discovery sucks, Picard sucks, it's not Star Trek, blah blah blah. This is the Star Trek you've been waiting for. It's just firing on all cylinders. I think Anson Mount's hair gets higher every episode also, which I think is fantastic. And also, if you're into the Star Trek stuff and fans of the TNG era, the Orville is back over on Hulu. I thought Ep 1 was a little sluggish. It was also extended in its runtime for episode 1, which I think is what maybe kind of threw it off a little bit. But episode 2 got a little bit better and more Orville-ish. So if you're a big Orville fan, the Orville's back on Hulu.
All right. John, anything?
I've been watching Serpent of Essex. It's on Apple Plus. And I got to say, it stars Tom Hiddleston and Claire Danes. It is an interesting period piece kind of show that has some sort of level of supernaturalism to it. Whether or not it's real or not is up to the viewer, and it's a wonderfully acted show and with amazing characters. So it's been pretty great so far.
I watched Hustle on Netflix, which is Adam Sandler as a scout for the Philly 76ers, trying to recruit an unknown basketball talent. And he's a scout, and it's basically his last stab at getting. He has to do this in order to get the job that he's always wanted. He's married to Queen Latifah, and there's a lot of well-known basketball stars on here in the movie, and it's produced by LeBron James. And I got to say, it's one of Adam Sandler's more dramatic roles. There's some humor, but it's more dramatic. And I don't care about the NBA. I don't watch basketball, not since Jordan retired, but I was enthralled. I think it's one of the best sports movies I've seen in years. And it didn't feel cliched. It felt like it was a little bit fresh, even if it had some cliched moments in it. You know, it knew how to do them fresh, make them feel like they were new, even if you've seen them in other sports movies. But there's just a humanity to it. Adam Sandler just does a wonderful job of bringing a real heart and determination to his character. And I loved his relationship with Queen Latifah, like they were husband and wife. And I just love their relationship. So Hustle is on Netflix, and it's definitely, I can't recommend it enough. Absolutely loved it.
So I actually hear that story is kind of like Rocky told from the point of view of Mickey. Is that what we're...
A little bit, sure. I mean, a little bit, yes. Yeah, I guess a little bit. I mean, he's trying to get this kid signed, but this kid has no experience with how drafts work, and and he's got a bit more background to deal with than a lot of the other kids, and he didn't go to college, and he kind of found him in a pickup game. So yeah, there's a little bit of Rocky to it. I could see that, and I mean the Philly component definitely adds to it.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
I'll have to check it out.
All right, let's go to our From the Outside In topic. Commercials. One of our Patreon supporters, for certain tiers, you can actually suggest topics. And Christy Flores, she wanted us to talk about commercials. Those things we used to watch between shows that were supposed to sell us something. Where's the beef? What's up? All of that. Well, we have all said we are done with commercials. I am 100% done with commercials. I never watch them anymore, but Christy, she wanted us to discuss them, and we're going to honor that wish. Plus, now that I've kind of jumped on the well, I'm like, there's a lot of commercials I used to like. Who knew? So when you think about the history of commercials, let's talk about it. So do you miss commercials, or are you one of those network people who still watches them regularly? I'll ask you, Troy, because you watch the most TV out of all of us.
Commercials can bite me.
So you don't watch them. Can we all agree none of us watch commercials anymore? I mean, is that fair assessment?
We don't watch them. We can't say we don't watch them. I watch them during the Super Bowl and when they're force fed to me on YouTube.
Yeah, that's about right. Like, I don't watch commercials at all. And as a matter of fact, I feel more sane in life since I gave up commercials. Like, I feel
gave them
like
up. It wasn't like an addiction. It wasn't like heroin or something. You didn't just quit. You just took them out of your life, right?
Yeah, but I attribute commercials to partly why I have hearing loss today, because the one thing that they did was they standardized the audio volume for the programs, and then they standardized separate audio volumes for commercials. Because if you ever notice a commercial comes on, it is so much louder than the program. Yeah. So you could hear it when you got your ass up to go to the fridge in order to get more food or snacks or whatever. So you'd still hear the commercial because it's super loud.
That ringing in my ear that I always have now, commercials.
Huh. I'm sorry, John. What was your point? You were giving a point, and I totally cut you off. I
don't know. Like I actually appreciate it when you do it, because then I forget shit and I don't actually have to keep going anymore.
Okay, so we're all in agreement. We don't watch commercials. All right, so think about this. Has a TV commercial ever, and I mean ever, convinced you to actually buy something you otherwise wouldn't have, or to pick up something you didn't need or want?
So one of the things that I thought of, there was so you know those as seen on TV commercials, right? Mm-hmm. It's basically a TV spot of an infomercial kind of thing that happens, and as opposed to an actual like home shopping network or anything like that. So I got caught by this as seen on TV fishing bait kit. Catch more bass by using this fishing bait kit.
You're like, I need
to get more bass after 3 months of $12.99 installments.
Right. So I bought the bass fishing kit, which wasn't anything different than I could have just like picked my ass up, gone to the bait store, just picked up something, and it would have been better bait. I didn't catch more fish. But yet I had to get it because it was a commercial and it was as seen on TV.
So it worked on you.
Looked cool.
And it worked on me. Yeah.
Sucker. Troy, do you have any where they got you?
100% when I saw the Zelda ad back in the 80s. I'm all like, Zelda.
Well, see, I could have done that too, but that feels that's easy. A given.
That's different. If it's something you already knew you wanted, right? Or is this be the first time you had ever played?
Well, it's the first time I ever knew Zelda was coming out.
Okay.
It was like, I saw that ad and I'm just like, there's a new video game from the Nintendo. Yes. It's a gold cartridge. Even better. Let's go buy it. Yes, tomorrow.
I it's kind of unfair to like we grew up in the 80s, so most of our television in the 80s, if it wasn't an actual commercial, it was a show that was a commercial. I point to Transformers. I point to G.I. Joe.
He-Man.
I point to He-Man. All of those shows, like all those cartoons, like point. once they lifted some of the restrictions on television for kids, they sold the shit out of us, and we bought.
Yeah. Still do.
I just purchased a Optimus Prime Lego set, so they still have got me brainwashed.
Like I said.
I think I said that.
Well, I'm
and
saying,
a Voltron set. So yeah, once they come out with like Mask and Thundercats, totally there.
Right.
Life cereal, because Mikey likes it. That commercial got me. I had to have Life cereal, and it sucked. Mikey's an idiot. Like I don't. Yeah, he does like anything. When you look back at that commercial, you kind of think, well, yeah, it's kind of. I mean, if Mikey likes it, he'll try anything. I think he just likes everything. I think Mikey is an idiot. He's just a simpleton.
His name's Mikey. It's not Mike. Big Michael.
Big Michael. Just some poor autistic kid who eats whatever bland thing you put in front of him.
He will. He's just, he's that kid. Yeah, just eat it. Okay. All right. You probably eat pickles you threw on the floor.
I mean, do you know how much more money Papermate would have made if they would have just given Mikey some whiteout? It would have been like, Mikey likes it.
I can't really think of any other ones where I would actually... commercials never really worked on me. I'm sure when I was a kid, like toys and stuff, but I don't remember anything in particular. I do remember the More You Know commercials. It
wasn't really a commercial. It was like an after school, after the end of the episode kind of thing. Where it was like
they had
10 seconds.
They were totally commercials, but they were just like, don't do drugs. The more you know. And to me, that was a commercial because I paid attention to those. I didn't pay attention to the actual...
They were technically called public service announcements.
They were, but they were the same length as commercials, so I counted them. My picks, and I won them on commercials. Damn it!
They sold you on not doing drugs.
Yeah, yep, sure did. Well done. So, okay, there's been a billion ads over the years. Do you have any favorite commercials? I mean, I have a couple, and we're going to name the top 10 according to, I don't know, a bunch of researches and polls. But what do you guys have as your favorites?
I got a few. You want me to just rattle these off?
Take them one at a time. Let's discuss. See if we remember any of these things.
All right. So I've always loved the Old Spice. Hello, ladies.
That's a good one. Yeah. And
that is a good one.
Old Spice stinks. It smells like somebody's grandpa, doesn't it? It's not a delightful smell.
Well, are you talking about the deodorant or the cologne or the body wash?
It was deodorant. Wasn't that one deodorant?
It's all deodorant.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, ever since they switched over to this new marketing campaign where they basically do the American houses of Hogwarts on them, those are great.
I will tell you that I use the Old Spice Pure Sport deodorant, and I had a compliment from somebody while we moved my friend, and they were like, "What smells good in here?" And they said, "Oh, it's you." So the fact that I was moving, and this was after we already cleared out from the third floor apartment and moved the truck, that I still smelled good, 4 or 5 hours later into the move.
Troy's like, it's my taint. Thank you.
I'm just saying, Old Spice commercials work. I guess I bought Old Spice because I saw it on a commercial. Hello, ladies.
Oh, your taint smells like Old Spice. All right, so John, you said you had other ones.
I have other ones.
Okay.
The Kmart, I shipped my pants.
Oh,
that's a good one.
That's a good one. Yeah, I like that one.
Disneyland Paris, the little duck on that one. Did you ever see that one? So it's basically this little duck who sees Donald Duck in a comic book and decides that he wants to go to Disneyland to be like a Donald Duck, and it's like it's a very cute and well done little 3D animated thing where he's traveling along and it's his little duckling and he's looking at the comic book and he starts pretending to be Donald Duck, and it's a couple other things along the way, but it's very sweet and very cute.
And then he finds Donald Duck and he's an asshole.
Yeah, pretty much.
I've never heard that one, but
and French, so the worst.
I don't know that one, but it does make me think of Bulletproof. Remember Bulletproof? Disneyland. There's a throwback.
Let's see. Mountain Dew, Puppy Monkey Baby.
I don't know that one.
Don't remember that, but the slogan was "Do the Do." That stuck in your head for a long time.
Well, yeah, and also Puppy Monkey Baby. I liked it because it was hard to say, and I actually had to practice it a couple times because I knew I was going to say it tonight. But it's these guys sitting on a couch, and a puppy monkey baby comes out of the thing, is like Puppy Monkey Baby. And everyone just starts doing this crazy dance.
I do remember that now. Now that you say that.
Yeah. Snickers, the Betty White commercial. That's when they first started doing the whole, like, you're a bit of a oh yeah, come on, Steven, you're like Betty White out there, and then Betty White just got tackled, and they're picking her up.
Oh,
and she's
yeah.
like, come on, man, and then I think they end it by fish from
Barney Miller.
Barney Miller was at the end of that one. That was pretty great.
That's good. That's a good one.
And then my last one is Volkswagen, the one with the little kid wearing Darth Vader's helmet, trying to use the Force on everything.
Oh,
That's a good one.
And
that was cute.
and he goes out to the car and puts his hand out in front of the car, and his dad starts the car from inside the house, and he jumps like he just used the Force.
That's such a cute one. That was so cute.
Yeah.
Well done. Those are good.
Thanks.
Troy, you got any?
I've always been more of a tagline person. Like I remember the commercials because of the tagline. And then of course holiday commercials always stick with me. So one that comes to mind is always the Hershey Kiss Christmas bells commercial. They play the "We Wish You a Merry Christmas." It's like a staple. That one's pretty good. And then I also like the clucking bunny for the Cadbury Easter eggs, when it was just the bunny just sitting there, buck, 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 buck. Like that's all the commercial is the entire time. It's just the bunny.
I like when they have the lion. The lion doesn't work.
Yeah.
The lion and bunny ears. Like, rawr!
So those are good. I love most of the Doritos ones that have happened over the course of the years for the Super Bowl. I really like the time travel one where he goes inside his kid's box and they time travel, and then the old dude comes out and says, "Get off my lawn," and then he's like, "It really did work." Like that one.
Mm-hmm.
Then there was the one with the guy who's driving in the car and he like sees the girl out the window and then she smiles and it's like spicy. And then he smiles back with a really cheesy grin and it's cheesy. And then he like hits something and then he crunches the bag and it says crunchy. Like I thought that one was pretty well done. I also really like anytime a Toys R Us commercial comes on because I immediately sing the song every single time.
I don't want to grow up.
I'm a Toys R Us kid. Dun, 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 dun,
Every
dun,
time.
dun, 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 dun.
There's a million toys at Toys R Us that I can play with.
Oh.
From bikes to trains to
From
video
bikes
games.
to trains to video games.
There's a million
Dun,
toy
dun,
stores.
dun,
There
dun.
is. I don't want to grow up. 'cause
Gee
baby,
whiz.
if I did, I wouldn't be a Toys R Us kid. Yes, we know all of that stuff because that's how ingrained and programmed we were.
I must buy toy. I must buy toy. I must buy toy.
I can tell you that I've only ever set foot in a Toys R Us maybe 5 times in my entire life. And those 5 times only happened after I was able to drive myself places.
Really?
Yes.
Oh man, I remember Toys R Us was the place you went to get the video games, and you had to pull the little piece of paper off because they didn't have the video games in the aisle. And you had to
Yep.
go up to the front of the store because it was all behind this glass barricaded Fort Knox thing. Oh.
My parents, when it came to Toys R Us, my parents would never, ever, 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 ever take us there.
And this is why you are the way you are today.
Yeah, that's why I hate things.
Yeah, I get it. But I think the biggest one was the fact, and I guess goes under the category of I bought something because of a commercial.
Mm-hmm.
But I went to the Outback Steakhouse, and while I was at the Outback Steakhouse, not only did I get the bloomin' onion because that's what you got to do when you're there,
You got to.
but
yeah.
all I remembered was that Foster's was Australian for beer, so I had a Foster's while I was at the Outback.
This just cracks me up.
I'm suddenly
Yeah.
remembering basketball. How to speak San Franciscan.
God, that's a funny movie. You guys have already taken a lot of ones that I really enjoyed, but I'll tell you one. I'll tell you 2, and I'll just. I wish I were an Oscar Mayer wiener.
Oh yeah, good
That
one.
is what I truly wish. And that the older you get, the weirder that freaking commercial is.
Well, John only feels that way because he got some Oscar Mayer bologna the other day that still had the wrap on it still, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
So
the
plastic.
That's probably true too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True, but the lyrics. I wish I were an Oscar Mayer wiener. That is what I truly wish to be, because if I were an Oscar Mayer wiener, everyone would be in love. Oh, everyone would be in love. Everyone would be in love with me. I feel like it's creepy now that I'm old.
Yeah, that's
this goes in the category of Aaron will find any possible way to make weirdness happen. Like
I didn't-
like the
you-
Luck
you
Dragon
know what?
in
You're right.
in,
Those lyrics aren't weird at all when they're sung by a little kid. Okay.
right. So also, it's not that if we have anything to say about it, it makes us the problem, not him. Makes us the problem.
Right.
Don't forget that.
If
That
the kid
is
sang
disturbing.
ABCs too while he was trying to sell some alphabet magnets.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Okay, the other one is oh yeah. That's one of my favorite
Kool-Aid
commercials.
Man.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's like a couple of that because like you could say like that's the Kool-Aid Man. You could say that's the Snap into the Slim Jim.
No, that's the Kool-Aid Man.
No.
That's
You
the
can
Kool-Aid
say
Man.
Yeah, that's cool. Ooh, yeah. Oh, yeah, is Kool-Aid Man. Snap into it!
Yeah.
That's Snap into it. Slim Jim.
Oh yeah. No. Oh no. You better fix that hole before my mom gets home. Was that Date Cook? Oh, that's funny.
Also the Christmas Cocoa Pebbles, Fruity Pebbles commercial.
I don't remember
Santa?
that. I don't remember
They
that.
do exist.
Well, there's like a lot of polls that put together the top 10
It's the M&M's commercial.
commercials of all time. Which M&M's commercial? The green one? The creepy?
The one where it's like Santa and the M&Ms run into each other, and the two M&Ms are like Santa, and Santa turns around. He says Fruity Pebbles thing, and but it's not Fruity Pebbles. It's M&Ms.
Oh, is it
I hate the
M&Ms?
fact that I know this.
Is it M&M's?
It's M&Ms because
It
Santa's
is.
surprised.
You know what? You know why I thought Fruity Pebbles? Because the yellow M&M sounds like Barney Rubble in my head. I think that's why I got confused. I was like, Santa?
All right,
It is M&M's. John is correct.
It is M&Ms.
Thanks for showing up
Yes.
this week, jackass, and not last week.
Yeah. All right, top 10 commercials according to several polls. Number 10 is Always Like a Girl. It's a commercial where there's a lot of phrases like you throw like a girl, quit whining like a girl, and stuff like that are kind of,
Oh, I remember that one. That was a Super Bowl ad.
yeah, it was a Super Bowl ad. Very sweet, very cute ad. Old Spice.
Very sweet ad for feminine products.
Stop. Well, yeah. Old Spice, the man your man could smell like.
Hello, ladies.
Number 8, Dos Equis.
Dos Equis.
Thank you.
Dos
The most
Equis.
interesting man in the world, which I do kind of miss those commercials. I really do. I like those. 7, Energizer. The Energizer Bunny. Escape with the Bunny. Yeah, I hated those commercials. I freaking hated them. I thought they were the stupidest
Yep.
commercials. Number 6 is one I love, though. McDonald's The Showdown. That's one where Michael Jordan and Larry Bird are playing
Oh,
a game
that's
of
a good
horse.
one. Yeah.
Classic. Budweiser. What's up?
No, I like the frogs better.
What?
Bud.
Yeah, I like the frogs
Bud.
better too. Wait,
Bud.
the What's
Wise?
Up one was good
Bud.
for like
Wise?
5 minutes, and then when whenever you walk into a room and every guy is like What's up?
It got old so
it
fast.
got tired.
They got old very fast. The frogs were better.
It's like it became the Nickelback of commercials.
That's
Nothing was actually wrong with the commercial itself, but the fact that everyone overplayed it was a problem.
Yeah, that reminds me. Number 4, Coca-Cola. Meet Joe Green. That's actually a really, really cool commercial.
Classic commercial.
Yeah, it's classic.
That one was fantastic.
That's where Joe Green's having a really bad time, and a kid comes over and shares his bottle of Coke. And he's like, "Man, hey kid, catch!" Throws him a jersey. It's pretty
I believe
cool.
that was the slogan, have a Coke and a smile.
Yep.
That era.
And shut the hell
Shut
up.
the fuck up.
Eddie Murphy. 3, Tootsie Pop. How many licks?
Does it take?
How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll Tootsie Pop?
2,
3. Number 2 is Wendy's. Where's the beef? Of course. I missed that lady.
Classic.
That lady was great. And number 1 was Apple's 1984. Troy, you're a huge Apple nut. Do you love that commercial?
I mean, that commercial at the time in 1984 is iconic because of the fact that your PC was this monotonous thing and everybody is all doing the same thing. They're in the same color. And it was the first time that the computer was going to be in color. So the fact that she comes running in color in that, I mean, the commercial itself is a very classic, like you teach people how to make commercials using that as an example from an artistic and a script and a mood setting kind of feeling. At the same time, I don't feel like it's like something you remember off the top of your head. Like if you were in that era, if you were in the 80s,
Exactly.
like you remember it, but like kids today aren't going to remember it, but they'll remember like, because people look up on the internet, the where's the beef or things like that. They tend to stand out a little bit more I don't think the Apple commercial stands out to today's generation.
Yeah, no, the most effective commercial Apple ever put out was the iPod commercials. That's it. Like the dancing shadows with earphones in.
Those were good.
That is the most effective commercials they've ever did, because all they had to do is sell people on iPods and suddenly they're the top of the heap.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they'd still be in obscurity as far as computers are concerned.
And Mac versus PC wasn't bad, but the problem is that when you do any kind of comparison commercials like that, you're always going to have people that are going to be on one side or the other. Mm-hmm. But the concept behind it, I thought, was very clever.
And some listeners actually in our Facebook and Twitter, we put on the topic out. Wayne Henderson said, my favorite series of commercials has got to be the Bud Light Real Men of Genius ads.
Those are good too.
They didn't convince me to drink any Budweiser, but almost every one of them made me smile. Aw.
Those are great.
Nate Bruce said Mentos.
The Fresh Maker.
The Fresh Maker.
The Fresh Maker. Those were fun. Mac Herring, the Geico Caveman commercials. Remember those? They've made a TV show out of that. Steve Hayden, the Quiznos Sponge Monkeys. We love that.
Oh, that's a good one.
That was so weird. So weird.
If you have not seen that one, go look it up on YouTube. That's interesting.
It's super creepy. Becky Trumbo, there was a Weight Watchers commercial when I was little. I really can't, but it's from Weight Watchers. Oh, yes, I can. It made my friend and I laugh uncontrollably, and we quoted it for months. That's funny. Sounds about right. And lastly, Ty Nelson, I love the Progressive Insurance ads about turning into your parents. Those are funny and hit too close to home sometimes.
Yeah, those are hysterical. Those are actually... Identify this. Scottish meatball? Or Scottish egg, as he says.
All right. Well, you can share your thoughts on this episode or anything else in our Facebook group, on Twitter @BuyPopcorn, or our site is thehollywoodoutsiders.com. You also can subscribe to Patreon, patreon.com/thehollywoodoutsiders, and you can suggest a topic just like that for certain tiers. Rate and subscribe on your preferred podcast app. You can find John's artwork on Insta and Twitter at @OurJohnDraws, Amanda on Veronica's Marshmallows and Smirk, and occasionally on The Hollywood Outsider. Troy at Troy Heinritz, and The Blacklist Exposed and Beyond Westworld, which is coming back really soon. And me, I'm presenting Hitchcock as well as Blacklist Exposed and Beyond Westworld. Now we're going to move on. A little Jurassic Park action. We're going to do How Do You Survive, which is one of our games. Then we're moving on to our Jurassic World Dominion review, where John's going to drop off because he doesn't like to go see stuff anymore. And he's also
no, it sucks.
Nowhere near anywhere where the theater is present.
He likes to see stuff. He doesn't like to travel to see stuff.
No.
Okay. Well, this is our Jurassic Park addiction. Addition.
I watched all 6 last weekend. It was awesome.
Yeah, man. All right.
Jeff Goldblum. What?
How do you survive? That's where we paint a couple scenarios pulled from movies or TV and kind of see how would we survive in those particular environments. So the first one for our Jurassic Park edition is you are trapped in a car. There's a T-Rex on one side and a Velociraptor on the other. The front door to a secure complex is directly in front of the car. How do you survive? John, you go first. Troy, you go first next time.
Okay, so I have to ask about this. Do I have friends in the car with me, or am I by myself?
You're by yourself.
I'm by myself?
Mm-hmm.
There's a T-Rex on one side and a Velociraptor on the other.
Correct.
Does the Velociraptor have a broken leg?
No. What kind of weird-ass question is that? Yeah, let's just make this as easy for you as possible. And the T-Rex is laying down and looking the other way. The Velociraptor's got a broken leg and also sad dreams.
So okay, my last question:
Jesus.
Does the car have the ability of moving under its own power at all?
I guess that's up to you. It's your scenario. If you can make it work.
Okay, this is what I'm going to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put the car in neutral. I'm going to use like a crowbar or something, or a tire iron to weigh down the gas pedal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to start like cracking the front windshield. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then as soon as I have it to the point where I know all I have to do is do one more good kick, I'm going to throw the car in reverse. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to throw myself through the windshield and let the car go in reverse. And because these creatures are looking for the fastest or biggest moving thing they can, they're going to go after the car. and I am going to now take my broken ass and run towards the complex secure door.
Okay. All right. Some of that is actually what part of my escape. But Troy, what's yours?
Well, I had two scenarios because I didn't know if the car was upright or if the car was upside down.
What?
So, because it just said they were by the car. And I
don't know how you know not to make it as clear as possible for us, because we're going to find our way through this.
Upright. It's upright.
Do we have superpowers at the time?
Use the upright.
Am I Superman?
It's in the upright.
So the car is in the upright position. Then what I would do is I would just drive to the front door, get out, and get in, because if we apply the physics of the movie, the dinosaurs never catch up to the moving vehicle or the running person.
Okay.
But to make it more fun, if the car was upside down, then I would actually go into the glove box, which had pepper spray in it. I would spray the Velociraptor with the canister I found in the glove box. And then I'm going to shoot a flare from the toolbox in the back seat that I found out the back window, which would distract the T-Rex. And as soon as the T-Rex moves, I would get out on the T-Rex side and make a run for the door.
That's, what's kind of cool is, thanks for stealing a lot of mine, but that's cool. I actually have parts of both yours. So I would put the car in neutral, roll down the window. I would crack the door. I'd Fred Flintstone the car backwards, so it's in neutral and just starting to roll. The T-Rex is now watching the car. The Raptor starts chasing the car. I jump out the window as soon as the T-Rex eats the Raptor. Then I dart for the door because the T-Rex can't pivot that fast. I think we all survived this one. And apparently, Troy finds a way to turn his car upside down in order to survive. That's
all right.
part of his plan.
For the record, it says you are trapped in a car with a T-Rex on one side and a Velociraptor on the other. The front door to a secure complex is directly in front of the car.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't say if the car is upright or upside down.
I just figured that was I figured that would be assumed. I figured. Okay, wait. Why would you assume it was upside down unless you were?
How many times in this movie, over 6 iterations of the film, have you seen the car upside down with the giant T-Rex's snout and eyeball snot blowing in the window? The assumption would be that the car is upside down because that's what happens in the movie.
Right. So, but more importantly, I have questions about Aaron's scenario. So, if I remember correctly, he said he's going to crack the door open in the car, right?
Going to crack the door open. And to get the car rolling, yes.
He's going to crack the door open, stick his leg out the door.
To roll the car backward. Uh-huh.
On the Velociraptor side or the T-Rex side?
I didn't specify, so I'm going with the T-Rexes on my side.
Okay. So what are you going to do with the stub of your foot after it's been bitten off?
He's too big and bulky. He can't get there that quick.
Theoretically, he wouldn't be able to bite the foot off because the door is in the way. So he would lose his foot because the door was closed on him. And then he would be trapped because the door would actually have pinned his leg and he couldn't escape.
I think either way, I'm right.
I think you guys don't understand.
I think Aaron did not think through this scenario very well.
I don't think he because unless he was going to say, look, the car has a trap door at the bottom of it, so I slide the trap door open so I can Fred Flintstone my way out of it.
Why would it have a trap door underneath it?
I don't know. Maybe it's a glass bottom car. Maybe so it can see the little dinosaurs as you're driving over them.
This game is better when it makes sense for people. All right. So the next scenario, you were on Isla Nublar at the edge of a cliff. It's just a cliff. There's no bridge. It's a cliff where the Indominus Rex comes charging towards you. You have a flare, a Funko Pop of your choosing, and a checkered flag on you, as well as a trained Velociraptor at your disposal. How do you survive? Troy.
So this obviously takes into account the trained Velociraptor with the new movie in mind. But as the new movie shows, and also the movie previously, this is how we actually capture Velociraptors inside of their cage. It's a tuck and roll dodge maneuver. So you stand at the edge of the cliff next to the Velociraptor, and as Indominus is charging at you, you wait till the very last minute, and then you tuck and roll and go out of the way, which then the Indominus Rex is like teetering on the cliff at that moment. And then you shoot it with the laser so that the Velociraptor runs into it and nudges it off the cliff and it falls. And then as it's falling, you wave the checkered flag because he crossed the finish line. And then you stick the Funko Pop of Raymond Reddington, James Spader at the top because it's just awesome. And it's like a gravestone marker for the Indominus Rex.
Did you actually stick a Blacklist reference in this?
I sure did.
Jesus Christ. You have problems.
You said it was a Funko Pop of my choosing.
You
and
had
I
a
just- I
great
looked
scenario and you blew it. You just blew it at the end.
I had the Raymond Reddington Funko Pop sitting in front of me, so that's why I picked that one. I picked a Jeff Goldblum bobblehead and put it there instead. Is that better?
John.
So I taught my Velociraptor how to play dead, but when I go bang, like I shoot it, it automatically knows to lay down as if it's going to play dead. So as I see this Indominus Rex coming for me, and I look over at my dear loved, sweet Velociraptor, I look at it, I go bang, and then I run along the cliff and leave the Velociraptor to be eaten by the Indominus Rex, and I survive, and I have this great like Godzilla Funko Pop toy to add to my collection of Godzilla toys, and I'm going to turn the checkered flag into a pair of shorts to remind me of my brilliance of teaching this dinosaur how to play dead that I don't give a shit about, and that's how I win.
Oh, I like it. Okay. I spark the flare and I throw it over the cliff in a very fetch-like motion. The raptor is trained to fetch and jumps, and therefore convinces the Indominus Rex that this is a good idea. A grand idea, I would say. And tries to fetch as well. Bam, no more dino issues. I also throw the checkered flag off just to see if it'll hit the ground before those two. That's it.
I really like the fact that neither one of us gave a shit about our Velociraptor.
Sorry, Owen. I would sacrifice that thing in a heartbeat. Yeah. You're my boy, Blue! Until you're not.
It doesn't have eyebrows. You can't trust it.
Don't pick on Blue. Blue's a gem.
Blue's in the third one also?
Oh, yeah.
Gotta stick around for the spoiler-free review later.
Exactly. Yep. And speaking of, it's time to let you go, John. It's time to say adieu. So,
sweet.
Say goodbye.
Bye, losers.
Wow. Okay. All right. Now we are talking about Jurassic World Dominion. I'm going to tell you what the plot is about, fairly spoiler-free, and then we'll give you a quick review with score, and then we'll really get into the details of this gem of a story. After the events of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, dinosaurs have run amok and into the wild, even bleeding into our streets. A debate rages on if we should protect these animals or put them down at all costs. But that all seems very minor in relativity to this film, as a large portion of the plot here revolves around locusts. Yep, scientifically engineered locusts are ravaging the planet's crops, and Ellie Sattler, Laura Dern, believes this to be the work of Biosyn, a corporate monstrosity seemingly running a sanctuary for dinosaurs while secretly utilizing their genetic makeup to orchestrate a global cash grab, one which could effectively destroy millions of the world's crops. Of course, Biosyn, and one of many nods to Jurassic Park, is run by Lewis Dodgson, who's now played by Campbell Scott, another Steve Jobs clone serving as a master villain in a blockbuster film. Ellie brings Alan Grant, Sam Neill, into the mix for as ridiculous a motive as you could possibly imagine, and they run into Dr. Ian Malcolm, who's played by Jeff Goldblum, who happens to also be working for Biosyn. Since Fallen Kingdom left Claire and Owen on the run following their plan to free all of the dinosaurs onto the unsuspecting public, surely murdering thousands of people in the process, they have settled into a cozy winter cabin in the middle of nowhere. Claire works with the Dinosaur Protection Group, essentially functioning as an activist anarchist who breaks into facilities and frees random dinosaurs, while Owen wrangles them up on horseback for sanctuary protection. Both are harboring a secret, though, as Maisie, who's played by Isabella Sermon, the clone child from Fallen Kingdom, remains under their protection. Lastly, but certainly not least, is Blue. The domesticated velociraptor resides in close proximity to Claire and Owen and has miraculously produced a baby on its own because, as Ian so famously stated, life finds a way. All of our characters start to align after Maisie and Blue's baby are kidnapped for more idiotic reasons, with the road headed straight back to Biosyn, where all of our characters will pair up and fight to end the series on a high note. We even get a couple of new additions, including Kayla, who's played by DeWanda Wise, a scene-stealing pilot who honestly I think deserves a spin-off of her own. She was great. So hold on to your butts, because Jurassic World Dominion does not require your brain. So, Troy, what is your quick spoiler-free review and score before we get into spoilers?
Overall, I mean, it's this typical, evil corporation take over the world, blah, blah, blah. kind of story. The mechanics behind how they get everybody together from the OG cast to the new cast, I think was clever enough that I bought it, even though it was simplistic. The dino on dino action is amazing, and the jump scares where they happen are fantastic. So this is exactly the kind of summer blockbuster movie where you check your brain at the door, eat your popcorn, enjoy the fun, and it's a 7 out of 10.
Yeah. Story, not good. It's really, I'll talk about it in the spoiler section, but just having the original cast together was fantastic. I think Jeff Goldblum makes everything just a little bit better. And I'm also a huge fan of Bryce Dallas Howard in these movies. For whatever reason, I think she does a wonderful job. And
she's gotten better.
Yeah.
Each
movie.
iteration of this character specifically.
I think she's the only one in the Jurassic World trilogy who has really become a fully fledged character. Like, she has evolved for me from film to film to film. And that's been great to see. But Troy's right. Story wise, it's ridiculous. Who cares? The dinosaur scenes are great. They're great. Absolutely.
X-Files with bees, but now it's locusts instead.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about that. But I give it $6.50. If $10 full price permission, I give it $6.50. A lot of that is because it's a screenplay I can't even take seriously for longer than a minute. And this is a dinosaur movie where I don't really care about the story, but it's that dumb. So
my extra 50 cents to get to $7 was because I did kind of wet myself twice. There were two jump scares where I was like, holy shit, didn't see that coming.
Well, now we can talk about it. So spoilers are here. If you haven't seen it, I would recommend turning the episode off, and we'll see you next week. Otherwise, it's on. What were the two scenes that scared you? What were the jump scares?
The first jump scare was when they were in the mines and Alan comes up the ladder. Like, you know, the dinosaur's going to be there. Like, you just know.
Yeah.
You know that. And then, of course, it was he just crosses over and he's like, it's not there on the sun. Like, I was like, oh my God. Like literally, like, dropped my popcorn.
Yeah, that was good.
That was a good one.
What was the other one?
I am trying to remember the other one. It was in towards the end. I think it was.
Was it the ice scene?
It was the ice scene when you're like, oh man, that's great. We like got you safe and sound, and all of a sudden it like shoots up out of the ice and comes right at him. Like, I didn't know it could like break through the ice that way, kind of like a whale breaching. And I was like, holy crap, it's coming. And then just it's snapping at the elevator cage afterwards. It was like, okay, that's good.
That whole scene was great. That was one of the dinosaurs I wanted to see more of. Like, I just needed to see more of that because that was
because there's dinosaurs that were like, does that dinosaur have feathers like a bird? Does that dinosaur have like quills on the back of it? Like, there was just gene mutation things that you're like, I want to know more about that dinosaur concept and how they made that dinosaur. That was the interesting part.
Yeah, and there were a couple where that happened, right? Because there was the, oh God, I'm trying to think of what it was called. The Pyroraptor is the one on the ice, and that one was really, really cool. And then there was the Tyrannosaurus, I think is what it was called. That's one with the claws. Yeah, that was that. I love that.
Which is basically like a raptor with scissor hands.
Yes, that was fantastic, but huge,
like a brontosaurus size, but Edward Scissorhands in a velociraptor.
Cool. And that whole scene where Claire, ejects from the plane and goes to the tree. I thought that whole scene was perfection. I thought that was just a riveting scene of dinosaur madness.
That's what she's like. That's what she's like, crawling on the forest floor and then goes in the pond. And oh man, the pond.
She doesn't know it's right behind her, or she does, and she's just trying to move forward. Oh God, that was so good.
And when it bends down and it's like smelling the water, and you're just waiting, and it stops and like screeches, and it's like inches from her head, and she's under the water holding her breath. And I'm just like, oh. I mean, the terror was like real.
It was good.
Like, I felt it.
It was so good. So the story. Here's the thing. Okay, this is supposed to be the ending of Jurassic Park / Jurassic World saga. They come up with an idea. There'll be more. But in terms of this series, this is the end. This is the story they came up with because Fallen Kingdom, I love the idea that now dinosaurs are in the wild. And the best story they could come up with to work this out is frickin' industrial, like just weaponizing locusts. Are you kidding me?
Well, see, here's the thing.
It's a stupid story idea.
The problem isn't the weaponizing of the locusts. The problem is that it's an evil corporation weaponizing the locusts. If the locusts would have evolved on their own because of something
Because the
BD
dinosaurs
Wong,
were in
scientist character did back in Fallen Kingdom or whatever, and now BD Wong's trying to like, you know, solve the problem, and that's why he needs to get Maisie and everything, and Blue's offspring, because he knows that he messed up and he needs to fix this. I think that would have been a fine story. There's nothing wrong with the Locust story. The problem is that its evil corporation makes Locust so that they can control all of the world's food supply, because the minute you see the Locust for the first time and that lady in Texas or whatever tells Ellie, you know, oh, they're using biosyn seed over there. It's like, oh, come on. Like, seriously, like, come on. That's just dumb.
I totally disagree. I think every aspect of it is idiotic. I don't like any of it. I just don't care of any of that story. There were so many more interesting elements, even in spots of the movie. The whole black market section, I'm like, that could have been a great whole story that they're following. Sure. Like they're trying to free dinosaurs that have been, you know, and because they're the ones that kind of got them out there. So now they're trying to stop a black market mass attempt at capturing dinosaurs or something along those lines. That could have been fascinating to me, instead of ending up using the Locust to just do the same story we've done every single one of these movies. Bad corporation, somebody's trying to capitalize on dinosaurs. Oh, good. Now we're all trapped. Now we got to get out of here. I mean, the same old. You have dinosaurs all over the earth, and you end up still all coming back to the same location.
Well, you need the park aspect in order to...
You don't need it. It's Jurassic World. We're in the world now, man. We don't need a park. We can... and we ended up back in a park.
The underground sequencing I thought could have been good. The problem is that it's very similar in story to the whole gambling or auctioning of the dinosaurs from the second or the fifth movie.
Well, I feel like that's
the
next evolution of that,
right?
To a degree. I mean, I just that whole aspect I like so much more.
I have no problem with locusts ruining the food supply and then having to try to figure out a way to reduce the locust problem, because the world is in jeopardy both for the humans and the dinosaurs if the food supply goes short. The problem I have with the story is that it's an evil corporation that's engineering the locusts. That's the part that's stupid.
All right, so we agree to disagree. You don't like a portion of it. I hate the whole aspect, everything about it. I think the story is just stupid.
Because at the end of the day, the whole thing was about genetics. And I love the fact that they're using, like I said, Blue's offspring and then Maisie to get their DNA, because they're literally genetically able to cure like all disease because of the thing that they found in their sequencing. So to kidnap them because you have to solve another problem, like that core concept makes sense in my head. The core concept that they need to solve, though, maybe could have been a little bit better.
Just a little tighter.
Yeah.
So the legacy cast and a lot of Jurassic Park 1 nods. How about that? And Lewis Dodgson, if you didn't, he's a blip in the original. But here he's basically given an entire role, and he's the supervillain. He's Steve Jobs. I'm kind of tired of seeing supervillains be like Steve Jobs, but whatever. I like the nods. I thought it was kind of interesting that they brought him back. I just feel like it wasn't necessary. And they showed the Barbasol can, and who found the can? I mean, those samples were only good for 36 hours, the embryos. So I don't know what good why would you still need that Barbasol can other than for the eventual nod? Plus it was covered in mud.
Maybe it was just a transport idea concept, or maybe remember there were two islands. So maybe there were Barbasol cans from the second island.
Sure. Let's just go with that.
You're just trying to like the can fell in the woods, the Diplosaurus, took them out and everything. And so technically those samples probably were not found from that particular Barbasol can. So, but it was cool to see it though.
What'd you think of it was, I mean, you definitely have to get a little excited when you see it, but then if you start to think about it for 5 seconds, you're like, wait,
there's a giant plot hole here.
That thing was buried. So how did you feel about the legacy cast?
That was great. I mean, the sequence with Ellie and Alan at the dig site, I thought maybe it was a little bit long in the tooth from a time perspective. They probably could have shortened that up a little bit and gotten more direct to the point.
Mm-hmm.
Them working together to get into level 4 and the interactions with Jeff Goldblum and the whole coffee sequence so that he could like hide from the cameras and talk freely with the noise from the coffee maker. I think all of that was just fun, like normal kind of movie banter stuff that you would do. The fact that Alan still has a crush on her all these years later, I thought that was really sweet. The the convenience factor that she just broke up with her husband, though. I mean, come on.
I feel like that was a putting something right, because in Jurassic Park 3, I feel like that was a really kind of a slap in fans' face, because everybody wanted those two to get together, you know?
Right.
And I think they're just making that right. They're saying, okay, by the end of this one, they're back together. So we've corrected that mistake. We've reversed course on that one. And I appreciated that as a fan, because I was always kind of bummed that they didn't end up together. And they have a good, easy chemistry. They really do.
Yeah, the OG cast literally didn't miss a beat. Right back at it.
Oh, man. Jeff Goldblum, he still looks pretty fantastic. Would you agree?
Yeah,
I mean,
I would say
like
Jeff and Tom Cruise are drinking the same Kool-Aid.
Yeah, definitely. He's 70 years old, man. He looks great. And I think he could still pull off that meme, where he's just sitting there shirtless.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Looks great. And always, I would say he is one of those actors where no matter what, even if he's in the worst movie, he elevates it. So he helps make things feel fresher than they probably should. And I always appreciate that about
I was really bummed when they were climbing up that ladder to get into the facility in the middle of the park when all the power went out and everything, and the air defense thing and the fire locusts were falling from the sky. Like when they were trying to get into that facility, I was waiting when they were climbing up the ladder for him to say, "Must go faster, must go faster."
Same here. I feel like missed opportunity, but also probably better that they didn't, because it'd probably be a little cheap.
Oh no, it would have been great. It would have been great. If used in the proper context, and that was the one place where they could have used it and it would have worked.
You're right. I will say they needed some sharper writing for quips and things like that. I feel like it was a little off the mark. So Claire and Owen, how about Claire and Owen? Because here you've got, like you said, Claire has a really strong arc, I think, and she's kind of evolved from the person that didn't even want to take care of kids to a mom, through the 3 films, which is kind of fascinating. So what did you think in terms of Claire and Owen this time?
Owen's just Owen in this one. He's very similar to the past movies. I do like Claire and Owen's relationship together, the fact that they're in the cabin taking care of Maisie, the fact that he's even trying to become like a dad and talk to her and get through to her where Claire's not able to get through in that opening sequence. And then just the tenacity to keep going and keep going and keep going, because he has this love for Maisie and Claire, especially after the plane crashes and the ice sequence, and they go into the jungle to find, like, who goes into the heart of the problem, other than Star-Lord.
Oh, Star-Lord.
Although I do love the, I have to say, like, I was like, Chris Pratt's kind of cute when he was on the horseback and he's doing the whole, bolo whip thing to like whip the dinosaurs. I was like, I can get into Chris Pratt cowboy sequence.
Oh, it was like that, huh? You like that?
I was like,
giddy up.
How
do you feel about Chris Pratt? I know a lot of people that don't like him in these movies for some reason. I think I enjoy his character.
Yeah, I think the reason why people don't do it is because he's not really the scientist, right? He's a pet trainer. He works at Pet Supplies Plus on the weekends. I mean, he's not really, Jeff Goldblum scientist, Allie scientist, Alan scientist. I think that's why it's hard to like picture him doing the things that he's doing, because he's not a scientist. Mm-hmm. He's an action hero in these movies, to be honest, that just uses the Force a lot.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
I really enjoy him. And like we talked about earlier, Bryce Dallas Howard, I mean, I feel like she has just become the heart of the whole series. I mean, I was so invested in everything she was doing. Everything. Yeah. She really sells me.
She's swimming through that water, and that they're filming this in some swimming tank.
Some tank.
In Hollywood somewhere. And just the camera shot and the way it's pulling back and the fear that she to be able to act in a way to pull that much fear into just your face and eyes, really specifically, because like her mouth is almost like half underwater for most of that swim anyway. Like just her eyes, like you're feeling the intensity that she's feeling. And you're like, that that dinosaur's not really there. That she's just swimming towards the camera, looking at the camera. What? But she's so fixed on the camera that you're like, I feel every minute of it. Every minute of it. I'm terrified the entire time.
Yeah, I like their arcs a lot. Now, did you how did you feel about the whole Maisie arc, the whole clone. I know you're big in. I mean, you love sci-fi. So, are you okay with that, or do you feel like that was a missed opportunity that was really underserved in this franchise to even have a human clone that wasn't really? I mean, I guess it was a clone, but
I mean, it never really came up in the first 3 movies, but if you think about the whole thing started with reprogramming genetic sequences from things that didn't happen before. So if you have the technology to create genomes and DNA and stitch that together to make dinosaurs again, it would make sense that you could use that technology to do other things like cure cancer or make people. So the fact that they have a person made, and it's all based on the research that was done at the park, and they give you the backstory of, I forget the mom's name, Collinwood sounds right. I don't remember the doctor that she's the clone of. Anyway, her cloned adult version, the fact that that all happened and it worked out the way it did, the fact that she's really, it was kind of like, it alluded to the fact that she was really like the mother of Jurassic Park alongside Hammond, is really what it felt like as they were explaining the backstory on how the cloning process came to be and why she has the perfect gene sequence. So I really like that concept. I think that that's cool, and that the technology could be used to do good things like that. At the same time, like I wish that we'd gotten more out of BD Wong's character, because I thought he had the real big redemption story in this, in the fact that he knew that they were doing was wrong. He knew that he had to fix it, and he wanted to do everything he could to fix it. He just went about fixing it the wrong way.
And it was Charlotte Lockwood.
Charlotte Lockwood, that's it.
What was the character's name?
It was a C and an L.
Yeah. And yeah, BD Wong, I feel like they haven't known what to do with the character since they kind of reintroduced him. And they're kind of going back and forth. And the why would you develop the locust to begin with? It just, I don't understand. I don't understand.
If I'm a corporation and I'm making plant seed and I want to control the supply of plant seed in the food chain and be the only person that you can buy from, I mean, from a corporation perspective, that makes total sense. But the movie's not about corporations. The movie's about DNA and gene sequencing and dinosaurs. So that's why it doesn't work in this movie. A different kind of movie, I think that totally works.
Mm-hmm.
Just not in a dinosaur movie.
Yeah, there's so many missed opportunities here. I just feel like, God, there are so many opportunities. I did love Kayla again, DeWanda Wise. I just feel like, why are we getting this character this late in the game, man? Because she's great. And I could see her, I don't know, going off and saving dinosaurs from black markets all over the globe. What a fun little adventure that could be.
I could see her totally playing the third sister in the Obi-Wan and be 10 times better.
Not a fan of, was it Reva?
No, not at all.
Yeah. So
like, that's how good she was. Like, I'm casting her in other movies. Just
she's great.
Give her more jobs in Hollywood.
She was so good. I just love her character. I love the actress. She did a great job. And the dino action. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
My God. So what was I will tell you my favorite scene. My favorite scene in the whole movie. And I think this scene rivals some of the best in the franchise. I would put it up there with Jurassic Park 1 in terms of the whole T-Rex attack.
T-Rex versus the Velociraptors at the end?
No, the T-Rex attack. The main attack.
The main attack. Okay.
Yeah, the big attack. The Malta chase, where they're in Malta at the black market, and they're basically, Owen's got to get to the airfield, Claire's got to get to the airfield, the takeoff, the whole, like, all of that, the streets of Malta, that whole chase. Dino Assassin Raptors, or whatever the hell, Dino Assassins? Are you kidding me? Fantastic. Like trained Doberman pinchers or something. I mean, it's just, I love this idea, and then it never comes up again. I'm like, what a wasted opportunity. You have Dino Assassins. This is fantastic. Why is this not being utilized more? But I love that whole sequence. I thought was just thrilling. Absolutely thrilling.
If I'm eating my popcorn and I'm enjoying the movie for the fact that it's a summer blockbuster movie, yes, the Malta scene is fun. However,
it's great. It's absolutely great.
No.
Yeah.
However, I have a trained velociraptor who can run faster than a human. And if I didn't have one part of this where Bryce Dallas Howard is on foot and running away from a dinosaur across the rooftops of this place, and you had another sequence where I'm being in a car being chased, or a motorcycle being chased by 2 dinosaurs at the same time, there is no way a human runs as fast as a car. that the dinosaurs don't catch up to the human and kill the human. Physically, it does not make sense.
Well, there's a lot of,
They could have just
slide. There's a lot of sliding roofs going on.
No,
Yep.
they just Bryce Dallas Howard should have gotten in a vehicle, and if everybody was in a vehicle, it would have been better. But the fact that one was on foot and one was on vehicle, it's like the equivalent of a stormtrooper can't hit anything. Like a velociraptor
But you're
is
okay
going
with
to
the
change its
locusts.
speed.
But you're okay with the locusts. The
Yes,
stupid,
because-
idiotic locust plot that makes no sense at all in any aspect.
It makes total sense
Makes
in the
zero
concept that they're
sense.
playing with DNA, and DNA can be altered, and DNA will find a way. It makes complete sense.
So they're just going to make a bunch of freaking locusts to go wipe out. It just makes no sense. It just makes no sense. Okay.
But the hubris was that they over-engineered the locusts and they ate the food too fast versus a controlled release where the biosyn seed could then take over. The concept is sound. It just doesn't belong in a Jurassic movie.
What benefit do they have?
Biosyn?
Other than eating every crop that isn't theirs. That's basically the only benefit. And that seemed to be a byproduct. Like that wasn't
Yes.
intentional.
I'm not a farmer. I don't know. So I'm just going to make up names. We're just going to say Ford, Chevy, Daimler Chrysler, Ferrari,
Sure,
whatever.
yeah.
Like, they all make seed, right? If I'm Tesla, I'm going to engineer insects that are going to destroy the crops so that farmers have to buy my seed in order to plant crops in order to make a living and then charge twice as much for that. That is a perfect maniacal corporation move.
It feels really, really stupid. Just stupid to think you can control them that much. But anyway, back to the dino action. Sorry.
No,
You
didn't
buy it because of that whole. I was fine with the roof chase.
Because
Trust me, mentally, I had it.
The
in
chase
there
in
too,
the car is friggin' fantastic. Driving to the plane and driving up the ramp, and then the car sending the dinosaur to its death and falling in the ocean. Like the whole sequence of the car chase into the plane is amazing. The running on foot, not so much.
I loved it.
It's also Bryce Dallas Howard. Like she's not running that fast.
Her stunt double was. Every time you don't see her face, she's really running really fast. So that scene was great. The ice scene we already talked about, but that was just, I thought that was so much fun.
Amazing.
And another
So good.
missed opportunity, right? Because why do we not see this thing again? I will say, I had a couple issues with the effects in the early going. I really noticed this. I don't know if you noticed this, but
when Blue runs in the jungle, it's like skips and hops around. It's not like a fluid motion.
It's not. And I don't know if it's because it's in the snow, because the snow background, like maybe it just doesn't work well with dinosaurs.
It's possible
in movement.
Yeah.
Where the darker elements don't as contrast as much, so you don't notice it as much.
Or you get more jungle and the jungle kind of masks it because there's all so much dirt, leaves, sticks, whatever that are blocking the foot traffic.
Yeah, I noticed that, but I really did love that ice scene, that pyro raptor, whatever the hell it was. It was really
good.
cool. So cool.
Good.
And then you got the whole jungle's on fire because that's what we
visually
do.
it was stunning, right?
So he lights he tries to burn the locust, and I guess that's the only part where I was a little confused as to, it seemed to me like, wasn't he trying to just burn them up in the lab?
Yeah, like why did they have to release them out of the top and let them fly through the entire thing? Was he trying to burn the whole place down?
I couldn't tell. Did he release them or did they just escape?
No, he released them. He pulled a lever and opened up the roof.
And that just, I guess his
that
idea
just seemed
was
weird.
this will burn everything, all our dinosaurs down and cover up our misdeeds. It just,
Except that they called the evacuation, which moved all the dinosaurs into the building, so they weren't going to burn up anyway.
Weird. I just,
that was a little off.
The plot makes no sense.
They only did it so that they could have the line, I think is what it was for.
Which line?
They're literally burning the evidence.
God. B.D. Wong, at times he must have thought he was on Law and Order. Are we sure this isn't Law and Order? No? Okay. Feels like it. Some of the dialogue.
But the final scene, when they talk about there can only be one apex predator, and the two apex predators are going after each other. Mm-hmm. And then the Edward Scissorhand dinosaur comes in and like teams up with the T-Rex. And the fact that the T-Rex wins at the end. T-Rex for the victory.
That was so good. Where they tag team wrestle him and they're like, two of us against one of you. Let's work together. I like how they just basically did a CGI nod. They're just like, hey, you with me? Yeah, I'm with you. I got my claws. Let's do it.
He pushed him into Edward Scissorhands, and then the T-Rex was like, finish him.
He should have made that kind of growl. That'd have been great. Oh,
At the end of the day, the T-Rex is the ultimate.
well, absolutely. And he kind of had to win, right? To a degree, he had to win. You just got to go back to the.
He had to
he's the
get
best.
vengeance from whatever it was, Spinosaurus,
Mhm.
whatever it was in the third movie.
Any other big scenes you want to mention, or any story asides that you are worth talking about, or dinosaurs?
I thought
that are
there
worth
was
talking
maybe
about?
miss when they were down in the mines, and the fact that they had to like mine the place out originally, and then that's what turned into the like. There could have been something where they found something in the mines that would have been interesting. Could have set up a whole new 3 movies based on what they found in the mines potentially. That could have been cool.
Well, that's a good transition. So this is the end of an era, allegedly. I mean, this is once again Jurassic Park / World has come to an end. Do you want more of these movies? How would you do it? What direction would you want to go? How would you want to see it?
I mean, yeah, when the first of this Jurassic World trilogy came out, I'm just like, really? Do we really need more Jurassic? And then I remembered when I sat down and saw it that I was excited that, ooh, Brontosaurus. Ooh, Triceratops. Oh, they're so cute and cuddly. Oh, T-Rex is here. Okay. And because of the dinosaurs, you're just really excited to see the dinosaurs on the big screen. And so do I need more Jurassic Park? No, but I'd be happy just to watch dinosaurs just stand around and eat plants and kill each other for 2.5 hours. That'd be totally fun.
Yeah, I definitely want to see more. I love dinosaur movies, and no other franchise is doing this. So I want more dino action. I just want less people in the way. And
Yeah.
a direction I'm not kidding. I really would love to watch Kayla kind of shepherd a new series of films and maybe just spin them off where she is maybe because it seems like she works in the black market for dinosaurs where she can actually be trying to set some free or create her own sanctuary or set up a sanctuary where she's trying to go and instead of having like a bunch of dinosaurs constantly trying to trash a park, she's getting 1 or 2 at a time and trying to get them back to the sanctuary or something. I think
Yeah, as I was watching
there's something there.
Chris Pratt ride on the horse, and then with the dig sites, I was getting a very like Indiana Jones vibe.
Sure, make
So
an
could
adventure out of it.
Yeah, could Kayla be like a Indiana Jones, Nathan Drake
Oh,
kind of character, but dinosaur related?
I think that'd be great. I'd love to see that. And she's a character I'd love to follow in more films. So
Yeah, for sure.
okay, anything lastly on Jurassic World Dominion or the whole series as a whole or anything? Do you feel like it's one whole series?
Yeah, I do. I thought that the trilogy wrapped it up nicely. The fact that they brought BD Wong back in order to make him work from the first movie, the fact that there's all the nods to the first movie, I think it was a very nice bow to tie everything together, unlike some of those other trilogy type things that didn't really make everything work together. I'm starting to sound like John, so don't be like John. Go see this movie. It's really, really good.
I do think, though, now that I've seen this, Colin Trevorrow is the one who originally was doing Rise of the Skywalker. I don't think he would have done it much better, honestly. I know a lot of people were like touting his conclusion.
There was
I like the
nothing
story.
wrong with that movie other than the longest space chase ever. That's the only part that's really the casino's even forgivable. If you like the multi-sequence,
That's not the same movie. That's a different movie. I'm talking the final movie. Yeah, you're talking the last.
Oh, Colin Trevorrow wasn't going to do Rian Johnson's movie?
No, he wasn't.
Because I always thought J.J. Abrams was always doing the final movie.
No, he was not. Originally, it was Colin Trevorrow was doing it, and he had it all mapped out and everything else, and he had it was an interesting story arc. You should go look it up if you've never seen it. But after I've seen this, and I've seen how I don't think he's a great writer, I'm good. He may be a good story idea man, but he's not a good writer. He's not. But the action is great. And this is a movie where you don't need a really well scripted story beats. You just need fun action, and there's a lot of fun action here.
You just need crying and heavy breathing and lots of running.
Exactly.
And you're good.
And that's what we got. So there you go. There's Jurassic World Dominion, and we'll see you guys next week. That's the end of this episode of The Hollywood Outsider. Be sure to subscribe, thehollywoodoutsider.com. Talk to you soon. And remember, the next time you head to a theater to see probably Jurassic World Dominion, buy popcorn.